Hey party people, welcome back to Jess Plays, what is this game? Eden's Garden. We're back and we're doing an investigation, which is kind of an interesting thing to do in the prologue in a Dawn 1 game, but is not uncommon when you're doing a demo. So there you go. It's just instead of Hagakure, it's Kara Koskinen. Okay. Here we go. She was stabbed in the torso 28 times. The victim also suffered chemical burns to the head. Most notable burns are at the eyes and scalp. Cause of death is blood loss. Time of death is unknown. There's a lot going on here, especially so there's this knife, which presumably is the murder weapon, and this rifle. Chemical burns in addition to 28 stab wounds? Jesus. I don't want to believe anything Speaker Guy says, but if this murder really is based on true events... Damn, the killer is totally sick in the head. Tablet has been added to the truth bullet section of your trinket. Alright, cool. So, let's go ask some folks, some stuff. Who wants to help? I guess we can go out to the courtyard too if we really wanted to, but... Alright, Ruby.
Oh boy.
Did you catch the look on Kai's face before he ran away? Dude was about to puke!
Yeah.
Guess the whole thing got the better of him.
For real?
Yeah, it's a really gruesome sight. I swear on my dragster, I've never seen anything like it.
You get me?
I mean, I don't make a habit of running into dead bodies, but still, you know.
I know.
At the end of the day, it's just some puppet. Can't be any worse than a Halloween decoration. Where have you been trick-or-treating? Wolf Creek Crater? Discovery like this would traumatize anyone. Well, almost anyone. I'm fairly thick-skinned. He's clearly not in the right headspace for an investigation. I should just ignore him. Alright, you're responsible, so we'll talk to you later. Ulysses was scribbling something down in his notebook.
I must take note of this.
Curious. Corporate television can barely create convincing corpses, so how does one wind up here?
Huh?
What does that mean? He finished what he was writing and lowered the book from his face.
According to my notes...
You see, convincingly realistic mannequins like this one are real, but rare. It's cheaper, albeit clunkier, to recreate a body using special effects, but that's obviously not the case here. Somehow we have a mannequin indistinguishable from a real human. Captors must not be tight on money.
Yes.
They could produce an amazing TV show, certainly. Yep.
I just want to go home.
I can't believe this is happening. It's just a dummy. It'll all be fine. She's clearly having a moment. Not something I want to deal with right now. Okay.
Hi.
Hey, are you investigating? I'll take that as a no. Okay. There's a bunch of people in the kitchen too that are just chilling. So this is based on a real case. I barely know the girl and yet I feel horrible. Had my fair share of grievances, but nothing like what she would have endured. I'd do anything to get back to my ship, even if I had to live through a never-ending storm. Jean seems to miss being out at sea. I guess I can't blame him. I want to be anywhere but here right now. Alright, so this room was locked prior to this thing. I want to make sure... Are we okay on... Alright. I turned up the voices all the way, so hopefully they're a little bit easier for everyone to hear. You know what I'm saying? Our captors gave us a lot of information about this victim. To their credit, what's written on the tablet seems accurate, but I should inspect the body just in case. Damn it, it's just a doll, Damon. Stop hesitating. The doll was slumped against the door, her torso soaked in blood. Parts of her shirt had been ripped open, exposing bits of bloody, indiscernible pulp. I quickly took a step back, trying to control my breathing to avoid throwing up. It's just a doll. There's no reason to be afraid of a doll. Okay, so it's time to count the stab wounds. The girl has been stabbed repeatedly. I don't need the tablet to know that. However, her cause of death... You'd think it was a stab to the heart or something, but the tablet claimed blood loss. Well, I mean, 28 stab wounds will do that to you. Taking a closer look, the wounds, they didn't seem excessively deep. At least, not deep enough to pierce her heart. Also, like, are you aware of, like, where... Okay. If she died from blood loss, what does that say about the killer? They probably could have killed her quickly if they wanted. Did they want her to suffer a slow death? Or they were panicked! And they didn't have a lot of time. Damn, this is messed up. I like how, Damon, like, immediately is just like, oh, it must be... Okay. It just goes, like, absolute worst case scenario, you know what I'm saying? Hands. Her hands were surprisingly clean, all things considered. There were no other marks or injuries, apart from her nails. Looked like there was dried blood underneath them? Why was there blood under her nails, but not on the rest of her hand? I don't know, because she was fighting back against her attacker? Victim's hands. It's been added to the truth bullet section of her trinket. Getting all sorts of cultodama, dude. Okay, so we have this bloody knife. A bloody knife lay next to the victim. It's safe to say that this must be the murder weapon. Bloody knife, okay. And then this not at all conspicuous assault rifle. The initial sight of the doll shocked me so much I completely overlooked this rifle. Inspecting it now, I realized something. If the victim was stabbed, why was a rifle near her body? Probably because she was trying to attack the person. That rifle. Could you step back a bit? I'm curious about something. Is it like gunpla or is it like real? What? No, Before I could finish my sentence, Jean walked over to where I was and picked up the gun.
Hey,
you're messing with the crime scene! Ignoring me, he released the magazine of the gun with surprising ease. Huh? From the top of the magazine protruded a loaded bullet.
I see.
Huh. That's interesting. This rifle hasn't even been used. Definitely a dangerous thing to have around. I'll put it down and guard it so no one gets any smart ideas. Better than him holding it. Damn, a loaded gun. What was going on in the killer's head? Why bring a gun to the crime scene and not even use it? Unless that gun was purely for intimidation? It's not very logical, but it'd be a twisted game to play with the victim. Unless the victim had the gun. I mean, like, okay, alright, so... Perpetrator brings a knife to a gunfight, and, you know, or is panicking, and this was a self-defense killing. I mean, there's always that, too. That seemed to be all the evidence. Nothing else was catching my eye. I should check the inside of the closet now. Okay. Oh, here it is. Sure. How do I... Here we go. Okay, I forgot how to leave for a second. Janitor's closet. Oh, you guys are, like, in here. Like the rest of the building, the inside of the closet was old and dilapidated. It was the last place I'd want to dig through, but I had to gather as much evidence as possible. Otherwise, I won't be able to present a strong argument. But yeah, that's totally your, the thing to be worried about now. Alright, so there's a timer up here. There's a clock above the door. Doesn't seem like it works. I feel like it's a timer, not a clock, but okay. Shelf. The shelf was packed with an assortment of towels. I briskly inspected them, lifting each towel to check for anything lying underneath. Many had gathered dust, but that was it. Nothing looked suspicious about them. Now I'm thinking about, like, that Drawfee episode, or several Drawfee episodes. Ah, Tails ate all the towels. Alright, we got a, Back of the closet. I need to inspect the area around me before I think about moving to the back of the room. Oh, I see. Okay, well. It's a bucket. Pretty typical thing to find inside a janitor's closet. But why is it randomly lying here? There's nothing inside it except... What does that smell? It smelled like bleach? Bucket. I always find something... Oh no. Step ladder. Uh-oh. Alright, I guess let's talk to the people here. Wolfgang, what do you know?
It's for the best.
We must make every effort to examine the crime scene as thoroughly as possible. Not for the sake of entertaining the people who kidnapped us, but for the sake of the victim. After all, this was based on a real murder, was it not? That was what the tablet said, though I'm still skeptical about the validity of that statement. Did we cover what kind of law you do? Are you like property law? Are you like IP law? Are you like a homicide trial? Like, are you a prosecutor or a defense attorney? Like, we don't know what kind of lawyer you are. There might be more clues around here. I'm going to check the entire closet for evidence. No thanks. A person like her is probably more likely to cause a murder, not solve one. That is... Whoa. Okay, I like how we jumped from person is good at lying, admittedly good at lying, to could probably murder someone. That is a leap. Alright, have fun with that.
Check it out.
Hey, check out what's behind this door! Saying that, she stepped away from the corner.
What?
It's a ladder. Doesn't seem like there's anything strange about it. Why was this brought to my attention again?
Dude, not cool.
I'm disappointed in you, I swear to God. You guys need to let the step ladder thing go.
Huh?
So hackneyed.
You really need to let it go, guys. Yes, I know. I too have played Gakten Saiban.
Seriously?
Pardon me.
This was cute, like, the first time I saw it, instead of, like, the 5 millionth. And I get that that's my fault, playing this kind of game, but... She's already out of here? Did she even investigate anything besides that stupid ladder? Looks like that's everything around here. I should check out the other end of the room. I love that, like, Miss Beast just got put in here to make the step ladder argument. Oh my god, where did you people come from? Why are you guys back here? Alright, camera. It's another surveillance camera. Is the guy in the speaker watching us through this? Just the thought made my stomach turn. I do wonder, like, you could conceivably do this concept without, I love this, like, is this, this is clearly not, like, is this the same model as this one over here? That's really funny, actually. Well, I mean, we're not out of toilet paper, that's good. So... we, what I was gonna say is, I feel like you could do this concept without ever showing the, you know, the mastermind or who's ever behind it or whatever, and just have them be like a disembodied voice. But I feel like if you're specifically gonna go this hard on the Danron formula, you need a Monokuma analog. Because that's part of the fun, is like, I'm assuming, like, that'll get revealed at the end of this, you know, as kind of like a little, like, teaser thing. So you can kind of have your little will they, won't they. Is it going to be a Monokuma? Is it going to be a Monokuma analog? Is it going to be something completely different? And yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how that goes. Alright, what do your eagle eyes see?
Gotta stay one step ahead.
I checked all the containers on this shelf. Oh my god, I just realized he has a shark tooth earring. I love that. They're all full, with the exception of one. A bottle of bleach.
Huh?
Bleach? Huh. There's a bucket in this closet that reeked of it.
Makes sense.
That's probably not a coincidence, given that this thing is supposed to emulate a real crime scene. It's crazy how much effort has been put into this. I can't think too much about what that kind of situation we're in, or I'll not be able to handle it. Alright, Richie Rich, what do you think? That security camera, it's brand new. Now that she's mentioned it, it does look out of place. You think it would have gathered dust like the other items in here. Did it recently get cleaned or something? This is reminding me, I've been reading this manga, slowly, because I'm reading it for free, and I only get, like, so many, like, I only get, like, 1, or 2 free chapters a day or whatever, and the manga's basically this, it centers around this, like, woman who is trying to replace her presumably deceased children with other kids, and so she like poses as like a nanny or a housekeeper or whatever to get access to people to kidnap. And there's like one part where there's this one arc where it's about this young woman who's like auditioning to be a maid for this rich family, and like one of the other maids that's auditioning with her is like, oh yeah, my husband works in securities, so you know I know what kind of cameras they are and stuff like that. And then it turns out that like that person is like the villain main character lady in disguise. So I don't know, that just reminded me of it. My company's headquarters have similar ones installed, except these cameras are even more high-tech.
Sheesh.
Huh, typical school, spending more on security than educating their students. That's assuming this is even the Academy's doing. Okay, alright, let's talk to Ingrid.
Golly!
These shelves are real intriguing. Take a look. Some of the cleaning brands go as far back as the 80s and 90s. Okay. Alright, okay, fine. Just come for me, like that.
Huh?
You recognize them? Because I use them. Why would you do that?
How should I put it?
All the chemicals do the job better, since there were fewer regulations about what's poisonous and all that. Just don't ask where I got them. Don't want to alert the fuzz. I'm sure they don't care about her black market cleaning supplies. You would be surprised. You would be surprised. King Kong, Kang Kong. Alright everyone, that's time. Look at you. Investigated the crime scene so well. It's enough to bring a tear to my eye. Jokes aside, please meet at the elevator for the class trial. You should find it somewhere around the Tree of Ignorance. Don't make me wait too long. I might start getting zap happy. See you soon. Class trial? What the hell does that mean? Sounds like that's the end of our investigation.
Let's see.
If we're done in this closet, we should go outside and talk to the others. Oh, our wimpy friends are
Come off
back.
the grass.
Boy, what the hell is a class trial? It's exactly what it sounds like. Your guess is as good as mine.
Duh.
Obviously we're going to court.
What?
Court?
What?
He's going to put us on trial?
Listen to me.
Maybe that's where we'll talk about the clues we found.
Just saying.
It makes sense for our current situation. Investigation, clues, files. What else could this stuff be for?
Well put.
Good point. It does seem oddly similar to court procedures. Obviously, we're missing key suspects and witnesses, but they don't seem to be relevant to this case anyway. Alright, so are you like a defense attorney / prosecutor?
Wait a minute.
You mentioned that this elevator was near the Tree of Ignorance, right? He must be referring to the room with the tree. Yes.
Focus.
Probably, yeah, that's the only thing I can think of. It'd be really funny if, like, it wasn't, and there was just, like, some other random tree in the courtyard that, like, you had to go to instead. That would be hilarious, actually. However, I don't recall seeing an elevator anywhere.
Just follow me.
Then what are we waiting for? Let's get our butts over there. She keeps treating this like a dumb game. If we're really going on trial, it's gonna be a nuisance to deal with that.
Okay.
Might as well follow her. One by one, everyone left. I guess I have no choice but to go as well. Alright, bye. Huh. Oh. Why are you hanging out here? See, Toshko has the same idea I do. She's like, I bet it's one of these trees. What are you doing out here? How do you remain so stoic at a time like this? Aren't you worried at all?
It's simple.
No, not really. It's not like we're investigating some high-stakes murder. It's just a dummy, that's it. Yeah, quite, I completely concur. She's obviously faking it. Without even looking at her face, I can tell she's sweating bullets. Oh no. Not that opening riff. Stupid Yngwie Malmsteen. Not Yngwie Malmsteen, what's his name? Dave Mustaine. Whoa. I was like, who's the guitarist from Megadeth again? This is a really funny pose. Okay.
It's simple.
Sometimes they have different dialogue if you talk to them the second time. Just checking. It is suspicious you're out here, but I feel like you're a little too suspicious. Whereas Diana's flying under the radar. Just saying. Just saying. I'm trying really hard not to emphasize her a whole lot. Just saying. When I arrived at the tree, I saw that people were already bickering.
Check it out!
Big tree, Eden's Garden Academy, overused religious symbolism is tight. I really hope we get let out after this.
Oi, you!
Huh. Can you confirm, liar chick? Why are you asking her?
Come off the grass.
Come off the grass, she's clearly faking her talent.
Am I hearing you right?
And that makes her one of the bad guys? Who would want to fake their identity besides someone with a secret to hide? I bet she's the one who brought that gas bomb onto the train.
Really?
And she didn't think to bring a mask? To avoid passing out or whatever?
If no one else is gonna say it.
If all you needed was a mask to protect you, then... Hey, don't look at me! I literally passed out! This helmet's got plenty of holes in it. I'd suffocate otherwise.
I've got something to say.
No. This liar chick's totally sus. Look how calm she's been acting. She somehow knew that dead body was a dummy, and then she poked it in the face? That's not normal.
Deal with it.
I told you it was my intuition.
Ugh.
Intuition my ass.
Hold your horses.
It's not unbelievable. My gut told me we should inspect the doll. Now look at us, we're on a mission to solve her murder.
Any clue?
Where's this elevator supposed to be again? I'm assuming it's in the tree. That's right, there's meant to be an elevator around here. But all I see is this tree of ignorance. Maybe we're missing something here. Or maybe we're being played for fools. Gooseberry fools? What do you think, Jean?
Aye.
Whatever this class trial entails, if we want to overcome it, we gotta work as a team. Jumping down each other's throats will get us nowhere. Man, it'd be really funny if it was just like a whole, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do, a mock UN, model UN. Why am I so short?
Interesting indeed.
A class trial, huh? Once this is all over, I think I'll allow myself a nap. That liar chick is definitely hiding something. No matter how much you morons deny it, it's the truth. Is there really an elevator around here? Seems kind of hard to believe. Wouldn't that sort of thing be pretty difficult to, you know, hide? Alright, marksman, you are... Oh. You were behind him, okay.
Man.
And I thought I was finally gonna have a normal school experience. Nobody's gonna believe this. Well, they might believe you guys. The whole world's just gonna laugh at me.
This sucks.
This sucks. He definitely has an inflated view of himself. Hey, don't look so down. Even though things seem uncertain at the moment, try not to let it get to you.
Put a smile on that face.
You should wear a big smile. Smiling always makes me feel better. This reminds me, I'm just gonna say, this reminds me of that stupid smile that Corpsey does in the first game. Where it's like, I don't know how to convincingly smile. Thanks for the advice. Just saying. Just saying. Well, are you gonna help? This is stupid. Is that his attempt at an excuse? I thought Mark was gonna be like, I've had some run-ins with the RIAA in the past.
Weird.
There's gotta be an elevator around here somewhere.
Let me think.
Maybe it's hidden behind some kind of, Ah, crud, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's called, fucking, awesome. It's called fucking.
Yeah.
Not funny, dude. Again, twice. I have been personally attacked.
Hey, hey!
New objective, find the elevator.
Yep.
Can't be that hard, can it? Come on, let's investigate.
Sheesh.
Let's just get this over and done with. This'll definitely be a story to tell folks back home. My mom will be so worried when I don't answer her calls.
Oh.
Accepting that letter was the worst mistake of my life. The Tree of Ignorance. This reminds me of an exhibit I saw in London.
again.
That's certainly random.
For your information.
Well, it was a very memorable exhibit.
No.
No, the London thing. Were you there on vacation?
No.
A vacation? No, I don't do much of those anymore.
Eh?
Why is that?
Never mind.
Inconsequential. Nevertheless, London was one of the nicer places to visit. Even if it was only for a few days. I really enjoyed meeting everyone there. There's no way she would have met everyone in London in a few days. I don't think that's what she meant. I think she's speaking colloquially.
Damn.
That golfer woman made some loaded accusations, huh? People can believe what they want about me. In the meantime, I'm gonna search for the elevator.
I see.
Alright then. Alright, guys, work with me here. There's a door right here. The more I look at it, the more confused I am. I'm gonna get a headache. Better stop. Alright, I assume it's got something to do with this. It's the creepy statue with the chunk missing from its face. I didn't notice this the first time, but the edges along the missing section were surprisingly clean. Looked less like a chunk naturally fell off and more like someone carved it out.
What you doing?
Notice the statue too, don't ya?
Huh?
Huh? Oh, yeah.
You alright?
What's up with the statue? There's definitely something whack about it. I just can't put my finger on what.
Look,
The mask is broken, there's a piece missing.
but
Is that weird? The statue's probably, like, super old. Makes sense to be cracking and stuff.
I'm talking.
No, this definitely seems intentional.
Wait.
Like it's crappy on purpose? Even so, that's not relevant to the elevator, is it? Well, you know,
What about...
maybe if we find the piece and place it back in the statue, something will happen. Like a puzzle-solving game. Yeah, I feel like the genre savvy is... That sounds kind of far-fetched, but I guess it wouldn't hurt to try.
Sounds easy.
You saying we gotta look around for the other part of the mask? Hold on to your butts, because I got the eyes of a predator.
Whatever.
This isn't a What? Never mind. With that, everyone started to search the tree again. Some people inspected the tree itself, while others scoured around it. After what seemed like only a few minutes, Grace stood up frantically with something in her hand. Bye, everyone! I found it! We gathered around Grace to see what she was holding.
Nice.
Oh, Oh, nice. That must be it. What should we do with it? Should we just stick it back in the mask?
Leave it to me!
Probably, yeah. I'll take care of it.
Soybean.
Back off, Hercules. You ain't the one who found it. Grace brought the piece over to the statue and slotted it right into the mask. And then, nothing happened.
Fail.
Oh, well, that was anticlimactic. Click. Suddenly, the ground we were standing on began to shake.
Golly!
Oh, golly.
Oh, shit!
Are we about to die? Yeah, what he said.
Yo!
Yo, I was right!
Whoa!
That actually worked? A fucking secret passageway in a tree. Never thought I'd see that. The Tree of Knowledge, a symbol of sentience, intuition, and understanding, exists here only as a barren replica. The Tree of Ignorance emulates the wonder of nature but does not achieve it. And justly so, for ignorance often aspires to be seen as wisdom. I don't know if ignorance itself necessarily aspires to be seen as wisdom. I think ignorant people perhaps want to be seen as wise. Not all.
Game over, man! Game over!
Oh god, now he's spitting random philosophy. We are so fucked! Will this take us to the elevator?
What about... question mark?
There's stairs at the foot of the opening.
Yep.
What are we waiting for? Let's explore.
If I may ask.
Why the sudden rush?
Duh.
I want to get home, duh.
Elementary, my dear.
If we get this over with, we'll get out quicker. It's, simple mathematics.
Sure.
I can also reference things, but they're a lot more... a lot more niche. Fair enough. So we just walk in, do we? One by one, we approach the opening of the tree. And descended into darkness. This is an elevator! Alright, so we have all of our people. We're probably never going to see all of them in the elevator together again. So let's look a minute at how people are arranged here. It's not always easy to tell, like, who's going to get ousted sooner or later. But, have to see, I guess. I see. The elevator is underneath the tree. Reckless investments, I'm telling you. With a rumble, the elevator began its descent. We stood in silence, 16 worried strangers plummeting into the unknown. That's how I feel every time I ride an elevator. That's where we were, after all. Random people thrown into this horrible place. And for what? Some twisted man's game? A fake crime scene, an investigation, a creepy statue, an elevator and a tree. None of this was the work of your average kidnapper. This was something much bigger, and in no way could be connected to Eden's Garden Academy. The elevator began to slow, snapping me out of my thoughts. I stood up tall, and when the movement stopped completely, the doors opened. In front of us was a large circular hall supported by marble pillars. Is this a new song? What's the name of the song? No. The same one. Okay. In the center of the room, 16 podiums had been arranged in a circle. Were those for us? Welcome, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the elevator ride, even if it was a bit quick. As you can see, this is the trial room. Each podium has a name on it. Find your designated podium and stand there until I give out further instructions.
However...
And if we don't comply, then I'll zap you, of course.
Back off.
Not the zapping shit again.
Miss.
Just face it, Miss Madison, we have to go along with his demands. Looks like there's a few smart ones in the pack, eh? Well, come along now, we don't have all day. There was no avoiding it. We had to assume our places. Alright, so I said cat. Okay, I said cat this time. As the Monokuma analog. Could be something else. but I'm gonna go with cat. And the reason I'm gonna go with cat is because up until this point, I haven't seen anyone with a house cat, like, motif. I don't think. So that's what I'm gonna go with. It could also be just a creepy little human doll. That's also possible too. Scanning the faces around me, everyone wore similar expressions. Pictured here. I like this because it looks like it's like a wheel of, like, emotions. It's like one of those, like, pain scale things, but for, like, I don't know, some other kind of negative emotion. Discomfort, anger, worry, didn't end. We've been kidnapped and forced to play as pawns in some inane game. No free will, no choice in our actions. Well, I mean, I think you do have some choices. All we can do is move forward. I like, everybody here seems a lot more, like, I don't know, positive, I guess. Less outright, like, terrified. I also like, too, that Wolfgang looks like he's, like, he's either, like, just taken in, like, his edible just kicked in, or, like, he's smelling his own fart. We had to hope for an escape. A way to run from this twisted place. We had to solve this murder case. We do not have very many Kotodama to solve this. Yes, I would like to save my game, thank you. I will cut this part out. Okay. Prologue. Valves created by stitches and needles. Alright, so we can view trinkets and change our difficulty. I don't remember what difficulty we went with. Oh right, we went normal. That's completely fine. Normal's good. Since I don't know what this is gonna be like yet, normal sounds good. We might make it harder later. Alright, so let's review our Kotodama. Let's see what we got. We got a tablet. The victim is Kara Koskinen. Ultimate teacher's age. She stabbed in torso 28 times. Victim also suffered chemical burns to the head. Most notable burns to her eyes and scalp. Cause of death is blood loss. Time of death is unknown. Blood-soaked knife. Assault rifle. There's a fully loaded assault rifle next to the victim's body. It's speckled with blood. Bucket found lying inside the janitor's closet. Interior of the bucket reeked of bleach. Victim's hands have dry blood under the things. So, yeah. We don't have a ton, but we'll see. Alright, everybody, here we go. I'm gonna start this trial, and we're gonna see how we do. Let's see how it goes, everybody. Oh, it's so weird seeing this in English. Okay.
Let's begin with a brief explanation of the class trial.
Oh, is it the ram? Is he a ram?
The objective here is simple. Explain how the murder took place. Using evidence you've gathered during the investigation, you will argue what you believe happened to the victim. Should you all agree on the right answer, you will be free to leave this place. Should you all agree on the wrong answer, well, you'll find out. That's all there is to it. Have fun, everybody.
Whoa, why is Wolfgang so tall?
Somebody, get me out of here.
If this is something we must discuss, I know a good place to start.
Get me out of here, 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 get me out of here! Ah! Somebody get me out of here! What happened to her? Oh shit! They fried her brain!
Calm down, it's only a shock. She won't suffer any permanent side effects. If I wanted to see the brain dip bigger, I'd just turn on the telly. On that note, please, carry on.
Holy shit, the people running this thing aren't playing around.
As you were saying, Wolfgang?
Right. The way I see it, the objective of this
By the way, can I get like a seat with this thing? I'm just gonna be an onlooker. It's only fair.
You're seriously not going to contribute?
What am I even supposed to do?
Put your detective hat on, buddy. We're here to solve a mystery.
Yeah. Who murdered that dummy chick, right?
Not who murdered her, how they murdered her.
Did that tablet not explain it?
It listed her wounds, yes, but it didn't explain how they were inflicted.
Probably because it's so obvious.
But, Miss Amber, you didn't even read the tablet.
And I don't have to.
Would you look at that? A debate's already underway.
These guys are clearly confused. I need to stop them before they arrive at the wrong conclusion. Oh gosh, do you hear that? That's the sound of a non-stop debate approaching. During non-stop debates, your classmates will speak one after another without interruption. Students may say things that contradict the truth, and it's your job to determine what statements must be broken in order to progress the trial. For your ammo, you've been armed with truth bullets that you gathered during the investigation. The truth bullets that are relevant to the debate will be loaded into your truth cylinder. Use the mouse to aim your reticle, press the right key to fire. You want to aim for words highlighted in gold, those are the weak spots. A lie or contradiction may be hiding within a weak spot. Carefully compare your classmates' statements to the evidence you have gathered, and use the correct truth bullet to destroy the relevant weak spot. So, I've played a lot of Danmon. I have never played Danmon myself in English, so this feels a little weird. But, that said, shouldn't be too bad. And I haven't played it on PC, but we'll see. If anything, that should make it easier. Things are flying by too fast. Use the spacebar to concentrate. This, right. Okay, so concentrate space. Speaking of time, be sure not to run out of it. There's an automatic game over. Not that someone of your caliber would ever fail. Anyway, press the F3 key to revisit the controls whenever you wish. That's all for now. Don't jump to too many conclusions.
The mystery was never about who killed Kara, but how she died.
Is that true? Objection! It's obvious what the murder weapon was.
I didn't get a good look at the crime scene, but the body was pretty bloody.
And what could have spilt that blood besides that big scary gun?
Ah, that's right. There was a gun.
You hear that, lawyer man? She agrees.
A lot of the voices in the room aren't always the smartest. Fortunately, an uninformed argument is never difficult to shoot down.
The mystery was never about who killed Kara.
Basically, I want to see
died.
how the stuff plays out.
Objection!
I'm usually pretty good
obvious
about
what the murder weapon was.
I didn't get a good look at the crime scene, but the body was pretty bloody.
And what could have spilt that blood besides that big scary gun?
Ah,
oh,
that's
right. It's right.
There was a gun.
You hear that, lawyer man? She agrees.
I hit the wrong button. We're not gonna auto it.
The mystery was never about who killed Kara, but how she
I only
died.
get the one this one time.
Is that true? Objection! It's obvious what the murder weapon was.
I didn't get a good look at the crime scene, but the body was pretty bloody.
And what could have spilt that blood besides that big scary gun?
No, that's wrong! Cassidy, can you stop butting in? You barely investigated the crime scene to begin with.
Whoa, what? I searched that place from top to bottom.
Alright, then tell me, how was a fully loaded assault rifle used as the murder weapon?
That's easy. It wasn't.
Obviously, the shooter reloaded their gun to full capacity.
Oh, because you're a gamer. I see. That's funny. That's funny. I'm sorry. I'm still dealing with the fact that, like, it's not Soriwachi Gaoyo.
Any smart shooter could tell you that. Right, Desmond?
Why are you bringing me into this?
Except, the victim suffered multiple stab wounds to the torso. If a gun was fired, not only should the body have had bullet wounds, but there would be shell casings from the fired bullets. We saw neither at the crime scene.
Details. If the gun didn't do that, chicken, what was the actual murder weapon?
It's so obvious. It's a knife. The door. The bucket!
I got it. The bloody knife. It's just so blatantly obvious. It was literally right next to the victim's body.
Why so Cam's razor gotta ruin everything?
Interesting. Both the knife and the rifle were present at the crime scene, but only the knife was used.
Yeah, I'm telling you, because it was a self-defense murder.
Kind of weird choosing the inferior weapon.
Nothing beats the sting of a sharpened blade.
I love you so much.
If the killer didn't use the rifle, why was it at the crime scene?
Maybe it came from inside the closet.
Don't see why you'd be storing a gun in a janitor's closet.
Man, I don't know. What if it's not even related to the murder?
Of course it's related. It's covered in blood.
Oh no. Everyone's starting to yell.
This debate's getting really out of control fast. I need to say something. Okay, now we have tablet and assault rifle.
To reiterate, both the rifle and the knife were next to the victim's body.
Yet they opted for the knife. Odd choice.
I bet that gun didn't even work. These days, it's all about aesthetics over effectiveness.
That's like your opinion, lady.
If the gun was broken, then the killer would have no reason to bring it with them. And yet, they did.
Watch it be for the aesthetic.
It's easy to assume the killer was the one holding the gun, but considering the details of the victim's death, I'm inclined to think otherwise.
To reiterate, both the rifle and the knife were next to the victim's body.
Yet they opted for the knife. Odd choice.
I bet that gun didn't even work. These days, it's all about aesthetics over effectiveness.
That's like your opinion, lady.
If the gun was broken, then the killer would have no
so
reason
slow.
to bring it with them.
Ah, you fire
And
so
yet,
slow.
They did.
Watch it be for the aesthetic.
I missed my Mew button.
To reiterate, both the rifle and the knife were next to the victim's body.
Yet they opted for the knife. Odd choice.
Okay, so there's a delay
I
when
bet
you
that
shoot.
gun didn't even work. These days, it's all about aesthetics over effectiveness.
That's like your opinion, lady.
If the gun was broken, then
No, that's wrong! Stop that thought right there. If we keep assuming the killer had the gun, we'll end up running in circles.
what? You think the killer was unarmed?
No, they had a knife.
No, they were definitely armed. With a knife. The reason they didn't use a gun is probably because they never had it to begin with.
But then, who did?
Easy. The victim.
Whoa, the dummy had the gun?
If it wasn't the killer, it has to be her. She must have brought it to the closet. She was probably carrying it before the murder, but dropped it when the killer attacked her.
Oh, I guess that makes some sense.
Complete sense.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. Aren't you overlooking something?
Huh?
The victim was stabbed from the front, meaning she could have seen the killer coming, correct? If so, why didn't she shoot them?
Because they freaking acid attacked her in the eyes with bleach.
A stealth attack! I bet the killer memorized her AI movements.
That girl must have been killed before she had the chance to defend herself.
That's not technically true. There's evidence of a struggle between the victim and the killer.
Specifically, evidence that shows the victim attempted to fight back. Beep, boop, 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 boo. The junk. The junk.
This is it. We found dry blood under the victim's fingernails, which implies she was clawing at her attacker. Of course, no explanation is definitive without photo proof of the killer, but I'm confident this is what happened.
Why would you resort to scratching when you're carrying a gun?
Because you can't see.
Did something get in the way of her using it?
Wonder if that killer stole it from her.
She should have seen or heard him coming from the hallway at the very least.
Why do you think she was in the hallway?
That's where the fight happened, right?
I think you're getting ahead of yourself. How can we be sure the fight happened there?
Maybe the fight started in the hallway, and after it ended, her body was dragged into the closet.
If that happened, shouldn't there have been streaks of blood on the floor? Or in the hallway?
Drag marks? Can't say I saw any.
It was merely a jest. No need to take it so seriously.
Instead of dragging the victim, what if the killer carried her? I don't know why they would want to do that, but it would explain the lack of drag marks.
But then, wouldn't the killer have been covered in
blood? Aye. It should have gotten everywhere.
I hate blood. It's so minerally and it gets everywhere.
Those wounds were brutal. A few inches deep, I reckon. Carrying her would have done nothing to stop the blood flow.
Good point.
She was obviously killed in the closet. That's where the blood was?
Yes, you're right. I'm so sorry for derailing the conversation.
Moving on. That fight. The victim had the gun, but she was overpowered?
If she wanted to, she could have just, you know.
It doesn't make much sense, does it?
Why are you trying to lead me astray, Diana? Why are you trying to push me down this very obviously incorrect line of reasoning? Must be something we're missing, something that explains how the victim was overpowered. And I know I'm the only one who could figure it out. Okay, so, agreeing points. During our last non-stop debate, you would have noticed that some phrases were blue. Bet you weren't expecting that, huh? Those phrases are called agree points. They're the counterpart to weak spots. As the name would suggest, if an agree point aligns with the evidence you've gathered, you can use your truth bullets to prove it correct. Simply aim your reticle at it as you would with a weak spot and shoot. In your pursuit of the truth, you must be prepared to corroborate your classmates' testimonies. When it would be wise to do so is for you to figure out. Good luck. It's gonna be bucket.
That slimy killer pulled a fast one and knocked the gun out of her hand.
By the sounds of it, those two did have a crazy tussle.
But she still carried a gun. So why didn't she shoot?
I bet that girl didn't even see them coming.
Maybe she thought the killer was her friend? I know I wouldn't hurt a friend.
She tried clawing their eyes out.
Keep doing that. Everyone's got a theory, but who has the actual answer?
That slimy killer pulled a fast one and knocked the gun out of her hand.
I keep thinking she said a salami killer.
Those two did have a crazy tussle.
But she still carried a gun. So why didn't she shoot?
I bet that girl didn't even...
I got it.
John actually has a point. The victim probably couldn't see what was going on. According to the tablet, she suffered chemical burns to the face and eyes. That sort of injury would have effectively blinded her. Also, inside the janitor's closet, there was a large empty bottle of bleach. That's probably the chemical that caused the burns.
Blinded? With bleach? That's horrible.
Blinded by the bleach.
All that pain, yet she still managed to fight back?
Well, I mean, yes, because in a life or death situation...
She sure put up a struggle. Without a gun, I guess the next best thing was her hands.
So the killer was definitely the one who blinded her.
Indeed. Knowing she had a gun, he blinded her to make her less dangerous. Then, when he pinned her against the door and stabbed her, she tried to retaliate.
We are making a lot of assumptions about the gender of the killer.
Until eventually dying from her wounds.
Jeez, this is brutal. Couldn't they have toned down the violence?
The past is in the past, and we can't change that. All we can do is solve her untimely death, eh?
I mean, by the sounds of it, we've already figured it out, right?
No, not yet.
Seriously?
But we've already discussed so much!
We know she was armed. We know she was blinded. We figured out how she died. How is this not a closed case?
Please understand, I'm proud of everyone's hard work so far. Because of you, we're one step closer to bringing the victim justice.
This was never about the dummy.
Oh my god. I'm just thinking about, like, if, like, I'm imagining some world where it's, like, Kirigiri has, like, interpersonal skills and is, like, comforting to other people, and it's really funny. It's making me laugh.
However, we should think of this case like an equation. Knowing how it works is only half the struggle. Now we need to figure out why.
So by the transitive property.
As in the motive?
Doki.
You're on the right track.
You speak like we have any information on the killer. The man's a stock image. He doesn't even have a name. What are we supposed to ascertain from that? That he's a non-character?
Not every answer will be written down for you. Sometimes actions speak louder than...
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Hold the phone!
Grace?
Whoa, what? Since when was Grace back to normal?
Right now, soybean. Watching you guys try to solve this mystery has been like watching a dumpster catch on fire. I guess all that smoke must have clouded your vision, 'cause there's a big-ass elephant in this room.
An elephant in the room?
That's giving us too much credit.
So the killer incapacitated that girl. She had a gun, it makes total sense. Problem is, you've yet to explain how he used the bleach.
I sort of assumed he spilled it on the victim.
Right. He just tipped the bottle over her.
That bottle is where the bleach came from, sure. But I doubt the bottle itself was involved in the murder. When we found it, it was neatly ordered on a shelf near the back of the closet. The gun and knife were just thrown on the floor. So it's weird this weapon was handled so differently.
Now I'm picturing somebody just walking with, like, handfuls of bleach, like, blah! Pocket bleach.
Do you think the killer just poured the contents of that bottle into something else?
Sure, before the actual murder took place, I'd say.
And what is this something else? Go on, explain it before this dumpster turns molten.
She's really stubborn about this, but I get the point she's trying to make. Before we move on from this subject, we need to make sure its logic is completely sound. Alright, let's put out this quote-unquote fire.
Well, if the original bottle's been emptied, where'd the bleach go?
Into another bottle?
What about a container? There were a bunch in the closet.
I bet the killer had a secret water gun. So when the victim came in, pow! He squirted her in the eyes.
Whimsical, but wrong.
The ink vanishes when the battle's over.
Call the fire brigade, Grace.
Well, if the original bottle's been emptied, where'd the bleach go?
Into another bottle?
What about a container?
I got it. She's correct. The killer put the chemicals in a bucket. Or, more specifically, the same bucket we found at the crime scene. After all, it reeked of bleach.
I always love these murders because they're the kinds of ones that, like, they'd be solved in like 2 seconds if you had access to, like, forensics.
If the killer didn't use it to transport bleach, what else did they use it for? Personal cleaning? I doubt it.
Yo, that makes sense!
A broken clock is right twice a day.
Okay, cool. So, how'd the killer use that bucket to spill bleach in the victim's eyes?
Oh, is this the door? So the step ladder's there, you put the bleach on the door, you open the door, and it's that classic prank where it's water falls on somebody.
It would be a fairly heavy bucket, so it's unlikely he threw it on her.
She'd shoot him before he even had the chance. Use your brain, mate.
Of course, my apologies.
It's a good question. How was the killer able to get a hefty bucket of chemicals into the victim's eyes? Especially without her knowing. Must be some kind of clue missing here. Think, Damon, think.
Even if he did manage to splash her, the girl should have sustained intense facial burns. However, aside from her eyes, her face was relatively untouched.
Well, if you check the tablet, it said she had burns to the scalp, too.
Burns to the scalp? How does that work?
You see, you put the chemicals on the scalp and then it burns it.
Unless those chemicals came from above?
Came from above. Above. Yeah, that's right, above!
Did the killer somehow suspend the bucket in the air? maybe there was a mechanism that made it tip over when someone entered the room.
Where's this bucket supposed to be again?
Above. Which, well, could mean anything.
Was the killer hiding above the door frame?
There's no way they were up there. There's nothing for them to sit or hold on to. Not to mention, they couldn't have stabbed her from up there.
And if there's no place for the killer to sit, then there's no place for the bucket to sit.
Unless you take into account the size difference.
Eh?
The space above the entrance might not be able to support a person, but it could still support something as small as a bucket.
And that thing supporting the bucket?
A door. Killer wanted two things: for the bucket to be above the victim and for it to spill on her when she entered the room. In other words, he needed to balance the bucket, but on what? Dough.
I got it. I don't know how we overlooked this, but I've got it. The killer just balanced the bucket on the door.
Like in those water bucket pranks people film?
Exactly. When the victim came into the room, she pushed open the door and caused the bucket to fall on her. This would make it so she couldn't shoot back or even get a chance to see her assailant. When the bucket hit the ground, it probably rolled away. That'd explain why we found it a couple feet from the victim.
That is a possibility, yes.
It sounds like the best conclusion.
There's just one problem. How was the killer able to reach that high? Unless they were abnormally tall, it'd be difficult to place something on top of that door.
Well, let's use that as our next point of discussion. How did the killer set up this trap?
Telekinesis. To balance the bucket on the door, a killer would need to reach pretty high. Was there anything at the crime scene they could have used as a boost? If I can answer that, it'll add further credibility to my theory. Joe.
This is it. There was a stepladder hiding behind the closet door. The killer probably used that. After climbing it, they could position the bucket right on top of the door.
Figures.
My precious stepladder? You think the bad guy used my super duper obvious stepladder?
Match point! Occam's razor!
Yes, it appears our killer didn't care much for subtlety. No matter how obvious it seems, it's the only answer that makes sense.
It was the only knickknack of its kind, too. If there's something else that killer could have used, it's escaping me.
Spring-loaded shoes.
I see. It makes sense with what we've got so far, but I'm not done yet. I still have one last question for you apes.
Please just leave us alone. Oh, I'm so tired.
Hey, don't be like that. Grace may be loud, but her questions have really helped our discussion.
Anyway, what was the killer doing when that bucket poured onto the girl's head?
He obviously didn't just stand there and observe.
I have to agree. They must have been hiding somewhere, waiting for her to arrive. Somewhere nearby, I'd assume. So, towels? Oh, I guess? They could be behind the door, but I guess back at
I got it.
closet?
I've got it. The killer was hiding in the back of the closet. If he was pressed up against the furthest shelf and facing the entrance, there'd be a diagonal path between him and his victim. I say diagonal because that's the only way you can make a direct charge forward. Also, when the victim entered the room, she would have been standing with her back to the hallway, right outside the killer's range. That's why the stab wounds were only made to her chest.
Creating the crime scene we found! Great job, guys! We're actually doing this!
That was the last mystery, right? We must have put everything together now.
Can I do the comic strip?
Even if it's all fake, I feel really bad for this victim.
It's an ugly sight, but she's no victim.
Huh?
Yeah, she's coming into the room with a gun.
Well, technically she is, but let's be real. The girl was carrying a gun. She probably provoked the killer, and they killed her in self-defense. It's a clear-cut case of the hunter becoming the hunted, no?
That's no excuse.
What?
There's no justifying murder. Killing a woman is the worst thing a man could do.
Yeah, okay, freaking, what's his face? Kiryu.
You're emanating a sizable amount of emotional tension. Are you okay?
There's no excuse. There never was an excuse.
I mean, I'm no lawyer, but I'm pretty sure that, yes, killing into self-defense does not count as murder, so...
28 stab wounds! No girl, no person should ever suffer Kara's fate.
Wait, who's Kara?
It was the victim's name! Didn't anyone read the tablet?
I agree with you, dude, but you don't have to shout out your point.
Oi, what's all this about? We've figured out the case. Stop trying to drag it on.
No. We're not finished here.
Huh?
There's no murder without a proper motive. We need to discuss why Kara died.
I am not going this far for a fictional murder case. We aren't looking for a murderer. We're looking for answers, which we have.
Do you turn in a half-finished exam, Winona? An essay without its conclusion?
I don't know, it depends. How much time did I get to work on it?
This isn't about efficiency, this is about being right. Or do you, a supposed entrepreneur, not value integrity?
Do you listen to yourself? Are you listening to the words coming out of your mouth?
What the hell?
Let's just talk about the motive. There's no harm in doing that, right?
Well, what was the motive? Was the killer fighting for their life? Or were they going out of their way to murder?
Maybe the gun freaked him out.
If I was in the killer's shoes, I'd definitely be nervous. Thing is, while acting out of self-defense is possible, since when does it look like this?
Given the severity, I'd liken it to a crime of passion.
Something done on impulse?
What if they were frightened? The spooky thing might have set them off big time.
Yeah, I see a ghost, I murder a friend. Yeah.
That's wrong. There's no way this was done in self-defense. No matter what excuse the killer uses, it doesn't change the fact they have blood on their hands.
Yo, bud, you seem a little pressed.
Silence! I won't allow this!
Wow, things are getting emotional. When you've only been using logical arguments to further the trial so far, now might be a good time to change your approach. Introducing the pathos mechanic. During non-stop debates, the emotionally charged commentary of your classmates will appear as purple text. These comments are called pathos statements. You can absorb these pathos statements by hovering over them with your reticle and pressing E or left trigger. The pathos statement will be loaded to your truth cylinder. Find a weak spot that's directly contradicted by the pathos statement and fire. If successful, you get to make a powerful emotional argument to counteract your opponents. It's pretty funny to me, about, like, countering logical arguments with, like, emotional arguments, because I just, without getting into it, like, I've been doing so much, like, advocation for, like, myself and my team and, you know, other people, like, at my job recently, and I'm like, they're always like, oh, okay, but that's, like, an emotional argument. I'm like, oh my god. Stay on the lookout for pathos statements. While you'll always be able to advance the trial using pure logic, emotional arguments can lead to some unique conversations. Ooh, interesting. That's cool. Alright, let's see what they have to say this time.
To kill Kara so easily and without restraint. There is no way to justify this.
Take a chill pill, man.
You expect me to stay calm? This was the sadistic killing of one of humanity's brightest!
We shouldn't make a lot of assumptions about the killer's morals. This could have been self-defense.
You don't even know the damn killer. Just the crime scene they left behind.
This killer, dead or alive, deserves to be brought to justice!
But how can we do that? There's no reason to trust you if you have no proof.
So says the ultimate liar.
I feel like Grace is just arguing to argue now. Was this murder justified or was it truly unforgivable? I feel like I have an obligation to find the truth. I guess I have to use the lawyer intuition one? It's the only one that exists.
How can we do that? There's no reason to trust you if you have no proof. There's no reason to trust you.
No, that's wrong!
Okay. It's a little sensitive about where you shoot it.
Expertise shouldn't be overlooked here. If there's anyone to believe, it's the lawyer.
Say what?
Wolfgang has spent his life in the courtroom and on the crime scene. He'd understand the criminal mind in ways we can't possibly imagine. He was even emotionally invested in a murder case he'd never seen before.
Okay, alright. Are you serious right now? Are you serious right now? Protag-kun.
If his lawyer's intuition tells us that the killer was in the wrong, then we have no reason to disagree. We're all ultimates for a reason. We need to trust in talent.
Well spoken. If Wolfgang is adamant about the killer's intentions, we should have faith in him.
Yeah, Wolfgang's clearly trying his best for us.
Let's trust in the lawyer and his bargain bin buddy!
Hey! If it means going home, then new guys convinced me.
Right on! Team Wolfgang all the way!
Thank you all for your support.
Well, Eva, do you still disagree?
Even if I did, it's not worth pursuing.
Does this mean we're done here? Hey! We're Disembodied Voice! We figured out your stupid case! Now let us leave!
Oh, you're finally done. In all honesty, I stopped paying attention a long time ago.
What? We only went through this case because of you.
Silly me, I have a short attention span. So, just for my own benefit, why don't you summarize the information you've learned? It'll be good practice.
Comic. Practice.
Fine. I'll do as you ask. I'll present the truth.
We'll present the truth together. Let's dig into it.
Okay, trying to bring this trial to an end, it's time for the closing argument. During closing argument, must summarize the case from start to finish. Naturally, your medium will be a comic book. Since the class has a relatively good understanding of the case, some parts of the comic are already complete. But it seems like your peers have glossed over the smaller details, judging by those gaps in the story. To fill in these gaps, you have been provided a collection of stock panels. Okay. Use WASD to navigate your stock. Press spacebar to select a panel. Hover your mouse over the relevant gap and press the left key to insert the panel. If you wish to undo your selections, simply press space. Don't forget QAA, or how you flip between pages. And by the way, gaps will reveal a hint if you hover over them. If you ever need to revisit this information, the control panel is only one F key 3 away. Now stand up straight and fix that tie. We've got a case to close. Okay. Where did the killer hide? Okay. What was the victim carrying? It is a gun. Oh, I guess I can change pages, huh? How do I go change pages again? Oh, E and Q. Right, okay. I forgot E and Q. How did the killer reach the door frame? We have one for that. Step ladder. Okay. What did the killer pour into the bucket? Nah. How was the trap triggered? Opening the door! Okay. Let's see. What was the victim carrying? Okay, clawing at the killer's neck. Pocket. What did the victim do when they were stabbed? They clawed at the neck. Okay. Okay, got that. Assault rifle. Okay, pour into the bucket. It's bleach!
I got it. The victim was Kara Koshkinen, the ultimate teacher's aide. Right before her death, she was wandering around the academy carrying a large assault rifle. That was probably when our unnamed killer, who was armed with a knife, spotted her.
And decided he'd put her to eternal rest. He slid inside that little janitor's closet, where he began hatching a deadly scheme.
Aye, they needed a way to surprise the victim, who was better armed.
Yeah, okay, so I like this. I like the fact that everybody contributes to this part, because you've all come to this conclusion together. That is nice, and solves a lot of the problems that I have with the existing games.
The killer grabbed a bottle of bleach from the closet and poured its contents into a bucket.
That's because they wanted to blind Kara by splashing the bleach in her eyes.
Sneaky little bastard.
But to do that, they would need to set a trap and catch the victim by surprise. The killer moved a stepladder behind the closet door and climbed up it to reach the doorframe. There, they carefully placed the bucket.
I like this gratuitous ass shot.
That way, when the victim opened the door, the bucket would empty its contents all over her.
After completing this setup, the killer retreated to the far end of the janitor's closet and waited for the victim's arrival. The killer could have made noise to attract the victim's attention. Either way, the victim tried to open the door.
And, the bleach splashed all over her. Her scalp, face, and eyes were severely burned.
Youch!
The killer leapt from his hiding place and began viciously attacking Kara. In his fit of rage and cruelty, he stabbed her from the front 28 times.
While being stabbed, the victim tried to fight back by clawing at the killer. This left the dried blood under her fingernails. However, it didn't deter the killer, and the victim eventually died.
At present, we don't have enough information to reveal the killer's true identity, but their actions haven't been forgotten.
So I do wonder if, this case is just gonna spread over the whole game, and so, the perpetrator of this particular crime is what set this particular game in motion, and so you find out at the end.
That is the truth behind this case. Well, are you satisfied?
A measly 3 acts. Poor Horace would be beside himself.
Who the hell is...
No one cares! We've done your end of the bargain. Now let us out already!
That is what I promised, isn't it? Alright, I'll let you leave this room. But before I do, may I be frank with you all for a second? This entire time I've been hiding behind a speaker, afraid to show my face. My heart tells me you'll react cruelly to it. However, my head, it raises a compelling argument. Who cares what others think? Shouldn't I get to have a little fun once in a while? Yes. Let's do away with these silly boundaries already. It's time we meet face to face.
Face to face?
What was that all about?
Everybody, look over there!
Oh, okay, I went from feet. I was like, man, everyone is such
Toss
long
away
torsos.
those pickaxes, peasants! The walls have finally crumbled. What will you do now that you've reached the other side? Will you treasure this new land? Serve it? Or will you set it ablaze? Well, peasants, have you made your choice? Yo, what the fuck is going on?
This person, his voice.
Are you the speaker guy?
Speaker guy? No. You don't address your superiors like that. Within the halls of this academy, you'll refer to me by one name, and one name only.
Headmaster?
His Highness, the great and powerful Tozu, host of the Killing Game.
Oh. Killing Game?
Well done.
Or you can call me Tozu for short.
Hey.
Hey, what do you mean by Killing Game?
The show must go on.
Did you really think the story would end once we reached the climax of the case? Quite the contrary. This is only the beginning.
That's...
Of what?
Why the long face?
Isn't it obvious? You, my dear subordinates,
Blood is rushing.
are going to kill each other. That's not,
Come on.
That's not funny.
But then...
But you said we could go home if we solved the mystery.
Mm-hmm.
I gave you peasants an incentive. It's not my fault you took it the wrong way.
What?
What are you talking about? You lied to us!
Rubbish.
Lied? Oh, no, absolutely not. I'm a fair man, a man sworn to the truth, and if I recall correctly... I specifically said you could leave this room, not go home.
You
sneaky son of a bitch!
not okay!
You're full of shit, man! There you go, losing control of your voice. That's how you know you've lost the argument. Logic is a cowardly thing like that. It'll jump ship the moment it's confronted with a challenge. He didn't lie, did he? He said he never lies. So when he said this was Eden's Garden Academy... Bullshit, what am I doing believing something like him? There's no other way around it, he's lying.
Dude!
Hey, why didn't you tell us about your dumb game sooner? And watch you peasants run away.
Pathetic.
Pfft, can't host a game without any contestants.
Please don't.
Please don't do this.
I just want to go home.
I just want to be with my family. Please just let me go home.
There's no need to worry.
There's no need to cry, Miss Tolner. Huh? We're all civilized here. No one is going to kill simply because they've been ordered to. What's this? The peasant has a rebuttal.
Let's see.
A match between unprepared, unfit players. You could hardly call that a match. In much the same way, this game you proposed, a killing game between students who don't have the heart to kill.
Nonsense.
Do you seriously think we'll abandon our morals so quickly?
Hey!
Yeah, that's totally right. We're like super boring people. We don't have what it takes to do something like this.
Indeed.
My heart is terribly soft. Softer than the most delicate piece of mochi. I'm just gonna point out that mochi is not delicate. When I see a fly in my room, I catch the poor dear in a jar and return her to nature.
I would never.
My mochi heart would melt otherwise. Also very hard to melt mochi.
I see.
That's your argument, is it?
How interesting.
So, what has you so convinced? What do you mean? What makes you think the people in this room lack the heart to kill? Do you even know anything about them besides their names and ultimate talents?
Pathetic.
If you do, then tell me. Regarding killing, where do they stand? Are they okay with murder if it's for the greater good? Are they okay with murder if it guarantees their survival? Is where they currently stand on the issue the same as where they're willing to stand? Go on, you've had a couple hours to get to know everyone. It's plenty of time to learn their life stories, right? Should I take that as a no? Goodness, what a surprise.
Plot twist.
Not! You wouldn't be here all dressed up in that fancy suit if you were so naive.
Such a spoil sport.
Oh, and one more thing. That trial you just did, that was your preparation for the killing game.
Get out.
How? All you did was make us play detective.
Plot twist!
And for good reason. If one of you is killed, the remaining students will participate in the true class trial. Your objective here is simple. Uncover the culprit if you can. Using evidence you've gathered during the investigation, you will argue who you believe committed the murder. The result will be decided by popular vote, and if you choose the right person, they alone will be executed, and the killing game will continue. However, if you choose the wrong person, the guilty party will be set free and the rest of you will be executed instead. Those are the rules of the game. Everyone understand? All of us will be executed? That's not fair!
Isn't this lovely?
Really? I think it's one of our most beautiful rules. Everyone has an incentive to participate in the game, innocent or otherwise.
What's happening?
That's insane! You're treating us like pigs to slaughter!
Such disrespect.
Nonsense. All of you have a chance to survive this game. Do you think the common butcher is so merciful?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, if no guilty party ever escapes, the killing game will end when there are only 2 students left. You may want to remember that. Or maybe you don't care. It depends on the kind of person you are. Out of the 16 people here... Oh, sorry. Out of the 16 people here, only 2 would be allowed to survive?
No shot.
2 people? That's hardly better than if someone gets away with murder.
Well done.
I know, that's what makes it so funny. Most of you will die no matter what. And yet, with every passing trial, you all cling to life more desperately.
The show must go on.
And that exact mindset is what causes more murders to happen. Aren't these rules simply brilliant? A perfect test of the limits of human compassion.
I have an appetite for destruction.
I can't wait to see all of you in action. Madman's loud, tinnitus-inducing laughter was suddenly cut off by a well-timed strike from behind.
I've said it a million times, you mangy fucking mutt! I want nothing to do with this stupid game!
Ow, 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 ow! Stop it!
Since you've made it clear you won't listen to reason, I'll just make sure you have no arms to kill with!
Do you even listen to when I talk? I'm not the one doing the killing. It's you lot who are...
Grace drove her fist directly into his stomach. She followed it with another blow, and another. And when it looked like she wasn't going to be satisfied until he was dead, I saw it. From out of nowhere, a tiny red dot appeared on Grace's face.
Hey! Stop already! There's a...
Yeah, you're about to get corpseied. But before we could do anything... The sound of a gunshot echoed in our ears. Grace released the man from her grip. Speechless, she moved her hand to her cheek, which had been nicked by the stray bullet. Oh, you're the actual corpsey, I see. We all looked in the direction that the shot came from. The shooter stood silently by the pillar, trail of smoke rising from the mouth of her rifle. Her mask! The design was a panther instead of a goat, but it was clear what she was working with him.
You
shot at her!
For real?
This is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them. Everyone slowly backed away from Tozu, suddenly fearful for their lives. What a shocking and unnecessary display of violence!
You think?
I was talking about the golfer woman. Well, now that you've become rather acquainted with our enforcer, Mara, if any of you kids try to jeopardize the killing game, such as by attacking me, she'll be there to put an end to your shenanigans.
Pardon me.
Even though she misses her shots? That was a warning. I assure you it would be unwise to further test her sharpshooting ability.
In any case...
Regardless, I finally have an answer to your previous question. You asked me if I knew anything about my friends besides their names and talents.
No matter.
Truthfully, I don't. But I'll continue to trust them as if I do. Because they're ultimates. Huh? They are charged with the betterment of society. They've proven themselves to be above simple acts of self-interest.
We will not succumb!
We will not succumb, even if you trap us, fire guns at us, and force us to endure farcical courtroom procedures. He's right. Grace was trying to compose herself, so clearly shocked by her run-in with death.
Don't test me.
No matter how weird these guys are, they're talented. Do you really think an ultimate would fall for this bullshit? That's right! My friends and I have too much to live for and too much to achieve. We won't throw all that away for your killing game.
Don't get it mixed up.
We're all going to escape. We have to. One by one, the students raised their voices in solidarity with Wolfgang. All of them were so confident in what they were saying. So willing to blindly put their faith in each other. And for some reason it made me sick.
My.
Never underestimate the strength of human connection. I am quite familiar with this idea.
Aye.
What kind of captain would I be if I couldn't even handle a small crew of 15? What is this horrible feeling of contempt? Why do I feel this way when everyone else seems so hopeful? The voice inside me was answered by another.
No.
You've got it all wrong. The students turned their attention toward Eva, surprised by her words. Huh? Do you actually believe no one here will try to kill? You're really naive. I don't know how you made it as a lawyer. Well, instead of resorting to random and ad hominem attacks, why don't you explain your reasoning?
It's the truth.
It's obvious. Compared to normal people, ultimates are far more prone to killing, not less. Living with constant praise from the public has ruined our sense of self. If you need examples, just look around the room.
What a joke.
Excuse me?
Look.
In the outside world, ultimates will do anything to further their own goals. The same is probably true here. Once you realize your dreams can only be achieved if you escape, you'll resort to murder.
Can't you see?
If you continue to convince all of these people to trust each other, they'll only be more vulnerable. Unless that was your plan all along? Is it possible you want to make everyone vulnerable? So that it'll be easier for you to kill them? What? That's
enough.
Suddenly, Ingrid stepped in front of Wolfgang protectively. Wolfie's done nothing wrong. He's given us all a vote of confidence. Yeah, it's something we all needed.
Please?
So, stop trying to get us to turn against each other, please. The horrible feeling grew stronger as the other students admonished Eva. It grew stronger and stronger, and I knew I had to say something. Eva's right. Huh?
No!
Oh, Damon, not you two!
I know.
Look, I get it. You want to make the situation less scary for everyone. But Eva made a good point. All of us have a clear motivation to leave this place, even at the cost of other people's lives. Whether it's to see our families again, or for the sake of our talents.
Don't say that!
No! I would never kill anybody! I say with my Kibogamine sweater vest.
That's not it.
Diana, you yourself admitted you had too much to achieve. Don't you see how that's playing into the masked man's hands? This whole we're all ultimates thing is pretty inane anyway. After meeting all of you, it's clear none of us have the same goals.
Hold on.
What are you insinuating? Don't we all carry the same obligation to improve the world we live in? This question angered me more than anything that had been said before. I could no longer suppress my true feelings.
That's wrong.
Look, the title barely means shit nowadays, alright? Most ultimates are just dullards obsessing over some pointless hobby. Their talents don't contribute anything of worth. The only thing they're capable of is leeching off public attention for their own goals. Ouch.
You've got to be kidding me.
Running a business that feeds millions is pointless?
No.
Some of you are an exception, obviously. Come on, there's no way the rest of you can improve the world we live in with your niche fixations.
That was very...
Don't you mean rest of us? You're an ultimate too. Yeah, what the hell makes you so special? I could feel their words worming into my soul. What makes you so special? Well, I can actually achieve many things with my talent, and I have an ahoge look. I can argue policy, consider ethics and morality. Yeah. Better yet, I was the one who got you guys through that trial.
Really?
Is that really what happened? I remember all of us helping out.
Shrimp?
Yo, I see what's going on. You think you're better than us just because you can say words nobody understands? Well, that kind of stuff is relative. Like, tell me what a dragster is. Do you know? Watch your step lest you trip and fall from the unparalleled heights of your vanity.
Not good enough.
I'm disappointed in you. How are you so concerned about making yourself look good when we're in the middle of a death game?
The hell?
Wait, I wasn't trying to... It's no use. They turned against me, hurling obscenities, scowling, and simply shaking their heads.
Isn't this lovely?
Whew, do I sense anger, hatred, an unquenchable sense of bloodthirst? Well, save that for later. I'm the only person who could spill blood in the courtroom.
Mm-hmm.
The elevator will take you back to the killing game arena. We've cleaned up the crime scene and prepared a dorm room for each of you.
Get lost.
Thanks. Now can you get lost?
Good evening.
Okay. He returned to his podium with the masked woman trailing closely behind. The bizarre mechanism that brought him into the room lowered the two of them into the ground and out of sight.
Hey.
Still, we're not gonna kill anyone, right, guys? No matter what happens, we're all gonna make it out of here, okay? It was only when the madman had left that reality truly began to set in. I'm trapped in a killing game with people who despise me. Well, I mean, you could have just kept your fucking mouth shut, and then they wouldn't despise you. How did this happen? Hubris. I just wanted to help. I wanted to make sure we didn't trust each other far too easily. Now I'm being treated like the bad guy. These people practice what they preach? Will they really refuse to kill? Can't trust anyone here. For better or for worse, it's me versus them. So cued the beginning of the end. The beginning of an unfathomable nightmare, an unrelenting despair. The beginning of the killing game. Okay, surviving members is 16. Alright, cool. So I guess that's the prologue and the sort of like setup to what we're doing here. I'll let the credits play in the background, but basically, like I said, this is really well done. Very like good at kind of aping the gosh, what are they called? The conventions of the games, and by that I don't just mean like writing wise, I mean also like and writing and aesthetics, right? Like you got the whole package here. You got mini games, and you got the 2.5D, and you've got the you know, the full voice acting and everything. And it's very, very impressively put together. So the yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes. Like I said, production values are real high. A lot of really interesting stuff happening, and I think it's interesting to see where it's gonna go. I kind of like the angle where we have a main character who is sort of a me versus them, but in a different from Hinata kind of way, where it's like, you know, it's clearly his own hubris needs some unpacking as well. I mean, Hinata did too, but that was slightly different. But yeah, I think this is really cool. It has some cool ideas about where it seems to be heading. And I also like that it seems to also want to be tackling sort of the larger issues of what Dannon is actually about, right? So if you step back and you think about it, there's two kind of main overarching themes, right, that go with Danganronpa. And the first one is sort of the in-universe idea of for what purpose do you cultivate talent? For what purpose is, you know, do we truly consider people who can contribute more to society as better than or more deserving of life than, you know, your average Joe? And so that's one of the running themes. And then there's the other one, which is sort of the meta narrative commentary, which is about how ultimately, you know, if you're not like me and you'll just go into these games straight Junko, but if you're more like the average sort of fan, the idea behind the whole Danganronpa series is that deep down, as much as you may hate it, there's a little bit of Junko in you too, because you're playing the game to begin with. You know, and that's the whole thing, is like you play it and you're like, oh, this is horrible and I feel so terrible when my faves die and blah 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 blah. But you're still playing the game, you know, and the pain that comes from seeing your faves die or seeing them be put in these tough situations, and the pathos that you derive from that is, you know, part of the whole thing. And that's why I find sort of the evolution of the mastermind so interesting across like the 3 numbered games in the Danganronpa series, because you get the first one where Junko comes out at the end, and you know, if you're savvy to what the game is trying to do and you read the signs, you're like, ah, I get it. The mastermind this whole time does it because of, you know, the theatrics of it, because she enjoys seeing the narrative play out, you know, and seeing where things go. And that's the whole deal about why Junko insists that she cares about her classmates, because if she didn't care, then there'd be no point, right? So that's the whole thing. It's the whole, what is it, Edna St. Vincent Millay poem thing, where it's like, grief is the price we pay for loving. So there's that. And then in the second game, like, that I guess was too subtle. So then in the second game, you know, the characters that you have been playing as the whole time are the ones who are sort of behind it, and they're members of despair and stuff. And so you're supposed to be like, oh yeah, the characters I've been identifying this whole time with are also falling to despair, so that means there's some of it in me too. And I guess that was still too subtle, and that's how you arrive at V3, where they're like, the mastermind's the audience. So you know, from the metatextual standpoint, it makes a lot of sense for that to be the progression, right? So I'm interested to see kind of what this game is doing here, because, and this is always something that you always have to ask yourself when you're creating / engaging with a fangun, is who is the target audience for this? Are you looking for people who are like, oh hey, this is kind of a cool game, you know, I want to check this out, it's got a pretty high production value, whatever, or more realistically, are you looking for people who are already very familiar with the series and already very well versed in the sort of tropes and conventions that come along with it, right? So I've been making jokes this whole time about how, like, I'm like, oh, you know, Ingrid, you're not going to make it past, you know, chapter 4 or whatever, but I do really hope that this project sort of undermines those expectations a little bit. I don't think they need to undermine them in a way that's like a one-to-one, like, reversal sort of thing, but I would like to see something going in a slightly different direction, so that I can't just sit here and be like, yeah, Ingrid's gonna die in chapter 4 to suicide somehow, or some sort of self-sacrifice, and then have it be true. You know, there's going to be a double murder in chapter 3 and blah 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 blah, you know. So if this game does sort of break away from that, I think that would be really interesting and would definitely be something worth praising, because just for me personally, that's really kind of more what I'm looking for when I'm looking in for like Danron media in general, right? So yeah, I think that's a pretty interesting way of going about it. This is real nice. I'll make another video sometime soon. I can't promise it's going to be next week, because it's going to take a little bit more, what do I want to say? It's going to take a little bit of, like, actual setup and stuff to do. Like, it's not just going to be, like, me editing gameplay footage. But I'll talk a little bit about kind of like where I think the story might go. I'm going to review some of the characters a little bit, talk about their designs and the direction for like their character sort of traits and their voice acting. But yeah, overall, very, very impressive. I think that this is the people who are involved in this, for everybody at every stage, should be extremely proud of what they've put together. because yeah, this is legit. Whatever ends up happening with Rain Code, you know, at least I know some parts of the fandom got my back. So, alright, thanks for watching, everybody. Just as a quick thing to kind of wrap up at the end here, I do want to let everybody know that this is a very, very busy month. So I do want to let you guys know that the week coming up is going to be incredibly busy, and I'm also going to be having quite a lot of also, it's going to be a busy weekend. Nate and I have agreed to do stuff basically the entire weekend, so we're not going to be around much for the weekend. The week is going to be pretty rough work-wise, and then next week is going to be a real crunch as well. So, and then the weekend after that, Nate and Narhar and I are going to go away for a couple days and hopefully just relax in an onsen for a couple days. But yeah, so very awesome. Hopefully we'll see you guys soon. I'll try to get some sort of like gameplay thing or something up next week. But I may have to take a quick break again just for a couple weeks until we hit April, so that I have a chance to really kind of take a breath and figure out what I'm gonna do next. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe next week will just be like a one-off, or maybe I'll see if I can break up a one-off into 2 pieces so that we have something for 1 week and then for another week. But yeah, so this was a longer than usual episode, so I hope it was worth it for the actual thing. I think I ended up spending a little over 2 hours recording this, so we'll see how much I edit it down to. Though to be fair, a lot of it was the trial, and there's only like a little bit of the trial that I have to cut out where I was I thought I was firing at something and apparently I was missing. I had to be a little bit more precise about where I was going. If you've never played Danron on a PSP or a Vita, or like using like a PS4 controller, you don't have to be that precise with it. Especially if you're not playing if you're playing on normal. But yeah, so aside from that, I should maybe cut out a couple of minutes, but this is still going to be a pretty hefty episode, so I hope you guys enjoy. If there's anything else going on this week, good luck with that, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Take it easy, have a great week and weekend, and stay safe, everybody. See you soon. Bye!